the thing about Monika that's so incredibly special is it feels like a collaboration with every single department. And so everyone feels like we're all making the same movie.
Hi, Alyssa. How are you? Thanks for having me. You know, in watching this movie, I just thought it was such an emotional role to play a part where someone's sister had been murdered, and, you know, to kind of for the character to take control and want to be part of that investigation. You know, how do you mentally prepare for something like that?
It's hard. It's hard. I think my biggest fear going into it was the emotion that I would have to like bring up within myself. Sure. You know, I'm not like a trained actor, so I dive into my own being to invoke that kind of emotion, and it's hard. So, you know, you just kind of look at it and go, I'm gonna do the best that I can here. And I think some days I was able to shake it off better than others, but we had different than ever before. We had an intimacy coordinator on this movie, which you would think would just be for the love scenes or, you know, the scenes where I turn into Desiree. But in fact, she was also there for the emotional scenes. And because those scenes are almost more intimate even than the love scenes. And it was so helpful just to have someone there that like helped me shut it all down before I got into the car and went home to the kids. Because I think you hear a lot about, you know, Gaga did her press tour and she's like, I took that character home with me and I played that character for 3 months and I never broke. And I know that that's like a real thing and a real possibility, but to have someone there that like helped you process the emotion was so beneficial. So
that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. So next up we'll go to the Jersey Mama.
Hi, Alyssa. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here.
Michelle, Kid Congeniality, and we had the same question actually, so I'm trying to like go through my notes. So did you research any characters who were also like writers, or like did you read anything about like detective kind of stuff or anything to kind of prepare?
I mean,
for
I'm
the
a
role?
huge true crime fan. So, I mean, that was definitely, I think, helpful. Also, I write, so also that was helpful. Also, I'm pretty brazen myself.
That helps.
So that was helpful. Yeah, so I was able to identify a lot of who I am with the character, which is always, I think, great and also tricky because you want to give the audience, you know, a complete character and not Alyssa Milano where, you know, I don't get lost, because the whole idea is to get lost, right? So, yeah, I just kind of felt real safe. I felt safe with Monika Mitchell, our director, and felt like we were going to make a great film, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next up we'll go to Queen Bee.
Hi, Alyssa. My name is Angela. I just wanted to say that I really love your work, and I found you to be extremely compelling with this character of Grace. And I know you said you have a lot in common. You're also an author. Kind of picking back to Michelle and to Debbie, because that's kind of what my question was about too. Is there a specific, as an artist, do you use a specific method? Like, do you do method acting, or what is it that helps you, or what do you do to get yourself into those really dark moments?
I mean, for me, and it's probably not a healthy way to approach it, but I dive into my own unhealthy moments in my life. My own trauma, my own grief. I don't know how to do it any other way. I know that there are actors that can make it work with menthol being blown in their eyes, and they're great fake criers, but I've never been able to do that effectively. And I just feel like I'm faking it, which is not a good feeling when you're an actor performing. So I just go to a dark place, and hope that what I'm trying to convey comes across as realistically as possible.
Jana, you can go next.
Thank you, Alyssa, for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you virtually.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, amazing performance. But I want to ask you about the collaboration that you have with the director, Monika Mitchell. Mm-hmm. You guys were able to do any improv? How was work closely with her?
It was incredible. I think that, best you can ask for as an actor is a director that is going to allow you the freedom to experiment and to try different things, but with the knowledge that they're not going to let you fall or fail. So I think the thing about Monika that's so incredibly special is it feels like a collaboration with every single department, and so everyone feels like we're all making the same movie. And I think, if you watch movies, there's certain films that are good films, but you'll look at the acting and you'll be like, it feels like those actors are in two totally different movies. Or there'll be one scene where all of a sudden the camera starts, it's handheld and it starts going like that. And, there'll be another scene where the camera's real stationary. And I think the thing that's so lovely about Monika is not only does she have the idea of where the actors need to go to tell the story, but also she tells the story visually, and those things match up really well. And I don't know, she's got it. She's just a very talented director.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I loved working with her.
Okay, so for now we will go back up to Kid Congeniality.
Okay, so my second question is, how long did the shoot take from start to finish? And what were your days like? It seems, again, I get back to the emotional aspect of the film, but it seems like a film with such a topic could be a little draining. And how did you, when you got home, try to decompress from the character?
Well, we shot in Canada during COVID. Okay. So right off the bat, we, got off the plane. It was me, my husband, and my kids. My two kids came with us, and our German Shepherd puppy. And so we were put into quarantine for 2 weeks. We couldn't leave the house. The Canadian government takes it incredibly seriously. So they would knock on the door, make sure we were complying. So that was the first 2 weeks, which was really intense to be in a house with my husband and my kids and the puppy. So it started off intense, and then it got, I would say, even more intense, not only because of just the subject matter that we were shooting, but also because of all the protocol, the COVID protocol. Every day we were getting our nose swabbed and, masks and shields and PPE, and we had, people that we would put all of our masks in paper bags and then, put them back on, and we couldn't socialize at all. We couldn't hang out. I couldn't hang out with the other actors because they tried to keep us all separate, because if one person got sick, the whole set would shut down for 2 weeks until, everyone tested negative again. So it was intense. We shot, I would say, between 12 and 14 hour days, which is pretty normal for making a movie. and the entire shoot was 3 months.
Wow.
That was with quarantine, rehearsal, wardrobe fittings, and shooting. And the way I unwound was I just came home to my family. You know, that was the really, really, really nice thing about the other really, really nice thing about this experience was I was able to bring the kids and my husband, you know, because of quarantine, the kids were being distant, you know, they were doing distant learning on the internet, and my husband was working over Zoom like all of us. So we just all packed up and said, let's go.
All right. Well, thank you.
Sure.
And Debbie with the Jersey Mama.
Okay, so I know that you are a writer too, and you've written books, and this screenplay was based on a book by Nora Roberts. So I'm just curious if you met her, or if you talked to her, or if you know anything about her version of the story.
I did. Well, I read the book, and I thought, after reading the book and reading the script, I thought our writers of the script did a really great job at adapting the book, to not only adapting it to make a movie, but also modernizing it, because it was, you know, written quite a while ago. And when I spoke to her, I had one question for her, which was, tell me something about Grace that is not on the page, that's not in the book, that's not in the script. Like, tell me one thing about her that you think just encapsulates everything about her. And she said, well, Grace is the kind of girl that'll jump up on a kitchen counter and drink a beer out of the bottle and have a slice of pizza. I was like, I could work with that. Okay. You know, but just that little piece of information really can change your perspective, right? You think about this author who's writes true crime books, which is what Grace does. That could be taken in a lot of different directions as a character, but when Nora gave me that little piece, I was like, oh, I know who this woman is now.
It's funny, it kind of humanizes her a little more, I guess, if she gives you those little details.
Yeah, and also, yes, that's exactly right. It makes her more of a real person, and right. Also, I wanted to be true to Nora's vision, not only because I think that's respectful, but also because I know how many people love her books.
Right.
So I knew that I had to, portray Grace in a way that in the way that they saw her when they read the book.
Right. You did a great job. I loved it.
So glad.
If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.